The world is filled of unbelievable but fascinating scenarios, some of which make you wonder if they ever exist. Such is Sharon Lopatka's bizarre story. Many people would consider her death to be the ideal example of a consensual killing. When someone kills another person with the other person's consent, it is referred to as a consensual killing. Sharon Lopatka lived in Maryland. She ran a business online. Sharon was characterized by her peers as the very definition of normal. She did, however, in fact lead a secret life on social media filled of horrifying sexual desires that ultimately brought to her death. Sharon Rena Lopatka was raised in Baltimore, Maryland, where she was born on September 20, 1961. She passed away when she was 35 years old. Sharon had a website where she offered love spells, psychic readings, and home decor books. Adult-oriented videos showing drugged-out ladies indulging in sexual activity were also included in Sharon Lopatka's article. As strange as it may sound, Sharon Lopatka was a lady who orchestrated her own sexual torture and murder. Sharon Lopatka looked online for the ideal man for several weeks. Finally, a man consented to torture her sexually before strangling her to death. Robert Frederick Glass met Sharon in a chat room for the BDSM. The odd request was made to Glass, who was pleased to oblige after the first man turned down her kind offer. The newlyweds communicated their wishes via roughly 800 emails. She made the more than 400-mile trip from Baltimore to Charlotte, North Carolina, on October 16, 1996, knowing she was going to die. She wrote a brief note to her loved ones that reads as follows: "If my body is never retrieved, don't worry, now that I'm at peace." They met up and proceeded to Robert's trailer once she arrived in North Carolina. He killed her by strangling 3 days later. Her husband had called the police to ask them to hunt for his wife during this period, but they didn't start looking for Sharon until they received a search warrant. While Glass had a troubled past, for instance, child pornography was discovered on his computer, but the murder and sexual torture of Sharon Lopatka were totally consenting. Mutual sexual enjoyment was the only motive for the murder. Robert Frederick Glass entered a guilty plea to both sexual exploitation and willful manslaughter. While examining Robert's property, law enforcement officers discovered some of Sharon's possessions: sexual bondage apparatus, drugs, a gun, and child sex films. They discovered that he had buried Sharon in a grave that was only a few feet deep not far from his trailer. He received 2 prison terms, 21 to 26 months for possessing child pornography and 36 to 53 months for manslaughter. Glass passed away from a heart attack 2 weeks before his release. Because these occurrences are so uncommon, the tale of her death is shocking and mind-blowing. However, psychologists study her case to comprehend abnormal sexual impulses and the impact they have on people.